Okay, welcome everyone. As we are holding by Visava Rebbe Aninas Laila Daraisa, which is 4 lines from the bottom. 4 lines from the bottom of Daf Kuf Amid Beis. So I want to give a preface to the shir. Oh, I'm not. Nobody's hearing anything.
You don't hear us.
Yeah. Now everybody.
We were all listening to Rav Shalema.
Yeah. Thank you. So I want to give a preface to this shir that for at least, they said for at least a few days after the surgery, I have to urinate a lot. And it's likely that I will have to stop the shir in the middle. So some Agidei Shiurim would say, well, that's embarrassing to do it on the camera and to do it. I'm not going to give shir. But that's not the right attitude. We learned that David HaMelech was rewarded because he was mavayish himself for learning Torah. So if I have to be a little embarrassed to learn and to teach Torah to all of my friends and to the rabbim, really there's nothing embarrassing to have to do something after a surgery. It's not even embarrassing. So I'm just saying that I might have to pause, and by saying it, maybe psychologically it'll take the pressure off. Maybe I won't have to. We'll learn from me, Moshe Meir ben Eskifradel. We'll learn one of my mispalim, and my Staten Island listeners know him well. Zev Leifer slipped on black ice today and fractured his hip. So he's now undergoing surgery. We'll learn for Zev ben Chaya Etel should have a refuah shalema b'sech shecher liyisrael. Also, Reb Ruvain,
We're going to let Nishmas, my mother, today.
Lila Nishmas,
Esther Pessel Bas Yitzchak.
Lila Nishmas Esther Pessel Bas Yitzchak, Abi's mother. Abi's one of my longest Talmidim. Neshama should have an aliyah. She should be a Malitza Yeshara for all of Klal Yisrael. Aaron ben Sarah, Nachman Yaakov ben Sarah. I'm going to dispense with the normal sponsors this evening just to get the shir started. But we know who our sponsors are.
How was the rub feeling?
Yesterday was very hard. Today is already a little better. So, Baruch Hashem. This is all what's expected. And as a matter of fact, I called the doctor to ask permission to say the daf. I didn't want to be a chevraman. If he would have held that it would be a strain, then I wouldn't have done it. But he said, no, if you feel you could do it, you could go ahead and do it. And he recommended that I should pre-record it so then I could stop whenever I have to stop. But I don't think it's the same. And if you could see me, I don't want anybody to worry about me either. I look at Baruch, he looks very worried about me. I think he's going to stay in New York longer because of it, just to watch me,
I can be on the dog, or it's going to be too much for the road.
I'll tolerate it.
And with Marshall, okay, that's pretty gutsy.
Yeah. Shalom, you're back in Florida? That means your shver is settled?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we're holding on the bottom of Kuf Amid Beis. So the Gemara says, V'sava Rebbe Aninas Laila is Daraisa? Does Rebbe hold the Aninas of the night is biblical? But Tanya, Hein hayayim. Aaron said, Hein hayayim, and on the inauguration when Nadav and Avihu died, he said, Hein hayayim, I am today an Einan. Ani hayayim aser v'layla mutter. U'l'dayrais, and for the other generations, bein b'yayim, bein b'layla aser, both in the day and in the night, it's aser. Rabbi Yehuda holds aninas layla is drabanan. Rabbi says even for generations, aninas layla eina midivrei Torah, ela midivrei seifrim. It's only rabbinical. So you see that Rabbi holds that aninas layla is drabanan, but he said earlier that Yom Kfura is the Laila's Draban. That would imply that the day of death, the night is Daraisa. So it's a question. Says the Gemara, no. Even the day of death, according to Rabbi, La'ilam Drabanani, the aninus of the night is rabbinical. However, so we would think if for Kvura, the aninus is drabanan, so, for Misa, the aninus is drabanan, we would think that the Yom Kfura, there wouldn't be aninus in the night at all. However, says the Gemara, but the Chachamim, also chizik l'divrayim, the Chachamim were mechazek their enactment, the Yom Kfura, which is not biblical. They made a chizik yosim mishal Torah, so that even though the day of Misa, in the day it's Daraisa, in the night it's less, it's only Drabanan, but Yom Kfura, the day is Drabanan, and the night is also Drabanan. They made a chizik to their words more than of Torah. Okay, so now we start a entire sugya about the day of tragedy during the 8th day of the inauguration of the tabernacle of the Mishkan, when Nadav and Avihu were executed by Hashem, and therefore Aaron and his sons Elazar and Isamar became an Einan. They burnt the carbon chattas, but they did not burn the mincha and the shlamim. Furthermore, we'll see that there were 3 chattases that day. There was a chattas of the 8th day, there was the chattas of Nachshain, and there was a chattas of Rosh Chodesh, because it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And the only chattas they burned is the chattas of Rosh Chodesh. So that's going to be a mystery. Because if we hold that they hold that aninus of the night is biblical, so then they should have burnt all the karbanos. And if not, then if you hold that the aninus in the night isn't even rabbinically prohibited, so then why did they burn the chattas? They could have ate it in the night. So we're going to see that there's 2 ways to unravel this web. One way is to say that the chattas, Moshe Rabbeinu was given a special dispensation that for the inauguration, Aaron and his children could eat even though they were an Einan. But they were only given that dispensation for the special karbanis of the inauguration, which is the mincha, the shlamim, the other chattases. But the chattas Rosh Chodesh wasn't special for the inauguration. That they didn't get a dispensation. That's one way of unraveling the problem. The other way of unraveling the problem is that they waited for the night, and this particular chattas became tamei. There was tumah. It became tamei, and that's why they had to burn it, and not the other ones. We'll also see that the Gemara will investigate, but there were other Kohanim that could have eaten it. Pinchas was a Kohen, and Moshe Rabbeinu himself was a Kohen Gadol during the inauguration. So why couldn't they eat it? So the Gemara is going to discuss that as well. So we're now going to unravel. This is a tricky Gemara only because of the quotes from so many psukim. Tan Rabbanan, it says in the pasuk that Moshe said, "Kichein tzuvesi." I have been instructed by Hashem that you should eat it. And he said, therefore, kasher tzivesi, why didn't you do as I commanded you? Why did you burn the chattas? And then he says, kasher tziva Hashem, I didn't do this on my own. I was instructed by Hashem. Kichein tzivesi, I was instructed by Aninas Yochlu, that you should eat it, even though you're an Einan. Kasher tzivesi, the second verse, a little bit different than I said it. Kasher tzivisi, this is b'shas ma'isa amalahem. He told them at the time that they should eat the carbon, even though they're an einan. Kasher tziva Hashem, and he reiterated like Hashem instructed to me, loime elav ani aimer. This is not my own thing. Says the Gemara. Now, we just learned that Moshe told Aaron to eat it even though they were an einan. Uramini.
This is a Bryce.
Uramini mipnei aninas nisrfa, that it was burnt because of aninas. It was burnt because of they were an einan, and that's why it says l'kach nemar ke'ela, because of like this, because of Nadav and Avihu's execution, that's why it was burnt. So Moshe Rabbeinu said that they should eat it, and here it says that it was burnt because they were an einan. Says the Gemara, you're right, it's a machlokes. Amar Shmuel lo kasha, ha Reb Yehuda, ha Reb Nechemia. One is going according to Reb Yehuda, and one is going according to Reb Nechemia. The Tanya, in one brayse it says, Mipnei aninas rafu. It was burnt because they were an einan. Now you'll say, but how could that be? Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu that they should eat it. So we'll see that this is because it was a not the mincha, the shlamim was special inaugural karbanas. That's the dispensation. But the sar of Rosh Chodesh is a regular carbon which is offered all the time. That there was no dispensation. And the kach nemar ke'ela, and therefore it says it should be burnt because of like this what happened. Divrei Nechemia. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Aimrim, no, it wasn't burnt. They were supposed to eat it, and that's why they ate the mincha and the shlamim and the other two chattases. The reason why this carbon was burnt is they waited till the night to eat it, and it became tamei. A cut should become tamei after you burn it. Mipnei tumah nisrafa. She'imata oimer mipnei aninas nisrafa. Because if you're going to suggest that it was burnt because of aninas, then they should have burnt all three. They should have burnt the mincha, and they should have burnt the shlamim. Davar acher. If it was because of aninas, they could have eaten it in the evening. They could have eaten it in the evening. Why did they have to burn it? And finally, davar acher, if it was burnt because of aninas, there was another kain to be able to eat it, who wasn't an einan. V'aloi Pinchas hayeh imahem. Rava says no. Aidi v'aidi Reb Nechemia. Both are going according to Reb Nechemia, that they burnt the chattas because of aninas. V'loi kasha. The only thing that they were given dispensation to eat is kan b'kachei shah. They were given dispensation to eat the karbanis that were brought unique for the inauguration. Can be kachei dairis, but the kachim that were eaten because of every year, every month, the Chatas of Reish Chodesh, they had no dispensation, and therefore it had to be burnt. So the Gemara says, okay, now we're going to explain the sequence of the psukim according to Reb Nechemia and according to the Rabbanan. Rabbi Nechemia heichi metaretz lahani kroi. Reb Nechemia, how does he answer the flow of the psukim? And Rabbanan heichi metaretz lahani kroi. And how did Rabbanan interpret the flow of the psukim? So the Gemara says, Reb Nechemia metaretz luhachi. Moshe Rabbeinu asked them, why did they burn the Chatas of Reish Chodesh? Madua lo yachaltem. Amalei Moshe la'Aaron. So now Moshe Rabbeinu gives suggestions. Shema nichnas dama lefnei ulefnim. Maybe you accidentally brought the blood into the Kodesh Kodashim. And we know, outside Chatas, if you'd bring the blood inside, it's no good. Amalei, so Aaron said, that's not the reason. Hein lo huva es dama. We didn't bring the blood incorrectly inside. Then he said, Shema lechutz mechitzasa yotzas. Maybe it was inadvertently taken out of the mechitza. Amalei, no, b'kodesh haisa. It was in the kodesh. Says the Gemara, v'dilma ba'aninas akrivtua upesalusua. Maybe Elazar and his summer offered it, and Elazar and his summer, since they weren't a Kohen Gadol, they're not allowed to do the hakrava when they're an Einan. So v'dilma ba'aninas akrivtua upesalusua. Amalei Moshe, v'chi heim hikrivu. Did they offer it? Ani hikrafti. I offered it, and a Kohen Gadol could do the avodah when he's an Einan. V'amalei, so then Moshe Rabbeinu says, then I give up. Why did you burn the Chatas? Hein lo huva es dama. You didn't bring the blood inside. U'b'kodesh haisa. And you didn't take it outside. So achel teichel haisa kasher tzivesi. You should have eaten it like I gave you instruction. That Hashem said it should be eaten ba'aninas. Ba'aninas yochlua. Amalei, v'tikrena oisi ka'ela. If such a thing happened to me, v'achalti chatas hayom, and I would eat the chatas in the day, hayitev be'eni Hashem, would it be good in the eyes of Hashem? We're going to see that Aaron said, well, it's a kal v'chomer from Meiser. Meiser Sheni is very lenient compared to Kachim. And yet it says, lo yachalti ba'eni mimenu. You can't eat it in aninas. How could I eat it in aninas? Oh, you must have had a special dispensation just for the karbanis of the inauguration, because they're unique. Shemalei shemata ela b'kachei shah. Maybe you only heard it about the unique karbanis of the inauguration. The ibekachei dairis, because if you heard about the kachim of all generations, like the chatas of Reish Chodesh, well, kal v'chomer ma'meiser akal. It's a kal v'chomer from Meiser, which is more lenient than kachim. Ma Meiser akal, Meiser sheni. Amr Torah lo yachalti ba'ini mimenu. You shouldn't eat it in grief. Kachei dairis, then the chatas of Reish Chodesh, which is much more chamer, lo kol shechein. And Moshe Rabbeinu did not say, "Oh, I didn't hear that." Here again, we see that the person should not be afraid to be embarrassed in the process of learning. Miyad vayishma Moshe. Moshe heard vayitev be'enav, and it was good in his eyes. Hoida v'loy boish. He admitted he wasn't embarrassed. V'loy boish Moshe leimer. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't say lo shamati. I didn't hear this from Hashem. This distinction. No. Ela amar shamati v'shachachti. He confessed, although it was embarrassing, I heard this distinction, but I forgot. Now, Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon, how do they explain the sequence? There's a little repetition over here. Reb Yehuda, Reb Shimon, Heichi Mitartzela, how do they explain the sequence? Hachi Mitartzelu. They explain it as follows. Why didn't you eat the chatas? Why did you burn the chatas of Reish Chodesh? Shema nichnas dama lefnei ulefnim. Maybe you brought the blood inside, and when you bring the blood of outside chattis inside, it becomes disqualified. I didn't bring it inside. Maybe you took it outside. Maybe Elazar and Isamar offered it when they were in Einan, and since they're not a Kohen Gadol, they disqualified it. Amalei Moshe, Heine Krivu, the Apostle of Ba'aninas, you think they offered it? Ani Krafti, I offered it, and a Kohen Gadol could do it. B'dilma, says Moshe Rabbeinu, B'dilma agav miraraychu, maybe because of your bitterness, because of the tsar of losing your children. Remember, we could never say something is bad. We could say it's bitter. So Vidilma, agav miraraychu, maybe because of your bitterness, peshatuba, you were neglectful, v'itmai, and it became tamei. So Aaron was horrified. Amalei Moshe, kach ani beinecha. Am I so small in your eyes, shani mavaze kachei shemayim, that I would act disgracefully with kachei shemayim? The tikrena isi ke'ela, even though it happened to me like these, vafilu eila v'cha'ela, or even more than this, ein ani mavaze kachei shemayim. So now Moshe Rabbeinu says, so then why did you burn it? Amalai v'i hein lo huva es dama. If you didn't bring the blood inside, or b'kodesh ha'isa, it was always in the kodesh, you didn't take it outside. Achol teichloi osa b'kodesh kasher tzivesi. You should have eaten it in the kodesh like I commanded. Ba'aninas yochlu. Amalai. So Aaron said, well, maybe you heard only that it should be eaten in the night, because aniyanis of the night is drabana. Not that it should be eaten in the day, because that's the raisa, and it's a kal v'chomer from meiser. Amalei shemalei shemata ela b'layla. Di b'yayim, because if you heard it about eating it in the day, kal v'chomer m'meiser akal. Kal v'chomer from meiser sheni, which is much more lenient than kosher. O ma meiser akal. Amr Torah lo yachalti b'ayini mimenu. You shouldn't eat it in grief. Kodesh chomer, kodesh, which is more severe, like kol shechem. So we're going to see, so then why didn't they wait till the night and eat it in the night? So Aaron is going to say they kept it over to the night and it got tamei, not through Aaron's pshia. Miyad, immediately, v'yishma Moshe heard, v'yita be'enav, it was good in his eyes. Lo boish Moshe loymar. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't embarrassed to say, and say, lo shamati, I didn't hear this. Ela shamati, I heard that there's a distinction between the day and the night. V'shachachti. So the Gemara says, yeah, but if they were allowed to eat in the night, why did they burn it? They should have kept it till the night and eaten it in the night. A chattis could be eaten the day and the night until chatzais. Says the Gemara, tuma ba'aynes basa. No, in the night, there was a tuma that came. Just going to pause a moment.
How's everybody doing out there?
Hashem.
Well, for Sean Barry, how are you surviving without Marshall?
Where did you go? Oh, he's busy tonight.
Another hockey game, no?
No, he's fixing all the sleighs that are going out tonight.
Barry, he's got one speeder. He needs more speeders to check it out.
Aye.
Come on, let's love.
Baby. Earth to Avy.
Yeah,
Before, where are you?
now I'm on the way home.
From where? Where's home? Brooklyn?
From Brooklyn to Lake Village.
Very nice. Very nice. How you doing?
Baruch Hashem.
Do you bump into Heshi at all? You see him?
She's not in Brooklyn.
I'm staying in Lakewood.
No.
Alright.
then Aura opened up in Lakewood.
He opened up, not the other.
Aura also.
But the other guys backed out of opening in Lakewood.
I don't think so.
Whatever it is, it should all be for good.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why Heshy would need it, but that's okay with me.
Gotta do something against it still.
Why, you're still working at all day? Do you go out?
Yes, I'm doing inspections.
Very good, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
You're doing inspections for other people.
Nope, just gas inspections for the new law, local law 152. Every 3 family has to be inspected every 4 years.
So you're an official inspector for this.
That's correct.
I mean, it has to be a licensed plumber that does it and signs off.
A licensed plumber or somebody that's authorized. If you need 5 years, then you need to take tests and,
So you have it both ways. You have the 5 years and the license.
I have a license.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. How's Chaim doing?
I am working upstate by Yola right now.
But he lives in Moshe.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I'm sure Barry kept you all entertained. So now we're going to have to try to fit in the pieces here. So the Gemara says, Bishleim Rabbanan, that's Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, Hainu Dichsiv, Hayayin. Aaron said, if I would eat it today, would that be good? No, it's because he said the dispensation is probably only for Aninas Rabbanan in the night, but not in the day. El Reb Nechemia Mai Hayayin. What do you mean in the day? The reason why they burnt it is because it was Kache Dairais. It wasn't a special dispensation. Says the Gemara, Chayvas Hayayin. Aaron meant, was it an obligation of the day? That's the Dairais, and for the Dairais, you didn't get such a dispensation. Says the Gemara, Bishleim el Reb Nechemia, Hainu Dichsiv, Hein Hayayin. According to Reb Nechemia, this is what it says, that this sacrifice was being offered for the day. In other words, that it was not special for according to him, he said, Hein Hayayin, this was in the day, and in the day we can't eat it because the dispensation was only for the night. But according to Rabbanan, what's Pshat Hein Hayayin? Hachi Kaimer, he was just saying that on the rejoinder, that maybe you burnt it because Elazar and his summer offered it, and not you. So he said, Heini Krivu? Do you think that they offered it? Ani crafty. And that wasn't the reason why it was burnt. Now, no, it's not that. It's just the pressure for me this year. So is it really urgent? Amamar, hayu lishloshtan sheyisarfu. If it was burnt because of aninas, so then why burn just the chatas? Should burn the mincha and the shlamim. Says the Gemara, my shloshtan. So the Gemara now says the shloshtan is not the mincha and the shlamim, but rather there were 3 types of chatas. My shloshtan, it says in the pasuk, the Tanya ves seira chatas, the goat of the sin offering, Darosh Darash Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu looked into the matter. So there's 3 Chattises. Sir Chattis is 1, Darosh is 2, and Darash is 3. Some gesund. What are the 3? Seir zu Seir Nachshon. On the 8th day, they brought the Sar of Nachshon. Chattis zu Chattis Shmini. There was a Chattis for the 8th day. And Darash is Sar Shel Reish Chodesh, the Sar of Reish Chodesh. So I might think, Yochel Shloshton Nisrfu, that we should burn all 3. Not should burn. I might think that maybe they did burn all 3. So the pasuk says on the lashon Yochid Talmud Leimer Vihine Soraf. It was burnt. In other words, it in the lashon Yochid. Echad Nisraf v'lo Shloshta Nisrafu. Now, Darosh Darash. Darosh Darash means that Moshe Rabbeinu made 2 investigations. So the Gemara says, Shtei Drishas Lama. Why did he make 2 investigations? Amaluhu, number 1, Mipnei Ma Chatasu Nisrafa. Why did you burn the Chatas of Reish Chodesh? And the Elu Menachas. And these other ones, the Chatas of Nachshon and the Chatas of the 8th day, you didn't burn. Now, says the Gemara, so those are the 2 investigations. Why this one was burnt, why the other ones weren't burnt. Now, we don't know yet which one was burnt, which of the 3 were burnt. Ve'en yodeh ezehu. I don't know which one was burnt. Kishu Amar, when it says, V'oson asan lachem laseis es avon ha'eda, and it I gave you to bear the sin of the congregation. We know that the Sar of Reish Chodesh is mechaper for Tumas Mikdash U'Kedoshav of the congregation. Haviyamer zeh Sar shel Reish Chodesh. It's the Sar of Reish Chodesh. Now, Shaper Karmele, Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon had a very good kasha. If it was burnt because of Aninas, then why only the Sar of Reish Chodesh was burnt and not the other ones? So the Gemara says, Reb Nechemia L'tamei, Reb Nechemia goes according to his reasoning, the Amar Koche Shah Loi Possible Aninas. That was what Moshe Rabbeinu said, Kichein Tzuvesi, that the unique korbanos of the day, like the Chatas Nachshon and the Chatas of the 8th day, those were given a special dispensation to not be burnt. The Reish Chodesh, which is L'dairis, was not given a special dispensation. Amamar is like a gufa. In other words, we're going to analyze. Amamar hoyu lo la'achla la'erev. They should have eaten it in the night. Now the question is, shaper karmele. That's a good kasha. Why didn't it? If it was because of Aninas, why didn't they eat it in the night? Says the Gemara, Reb Nechemia holds, Kasabar Aninas Laila Daraisa. That Aninas of the night is biblical. Davar Achar. Why did you have to burn it? Valai Pinchas hayimahen. Pinchas was there. So if it was burnt because of Aninas, there was another option. Pinchas wasn't an Einan because of the death of Elazar and Isamar, so it should have been given to Pinchas. So Shaper Karmelite, that's a very good taina. Says the Gemara, Pinchas was not yet knighted. Not really a good word, an accurate word, but he was not yet sanctified as a Kohen until he killed Zimri. So at this time he wasn't a Kohen yet. Savalak Rabbi Lazar, the Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amar Rabbi Chanina, Lo Niskan Pinchas. Pinchas was not anointed as a Kohen at Sheharagu Zimri, until he did the act of righteous zealotry and killed Zimri for sleeping publicly, wanting to sleep publicly, and doing so with Zimri ben Salo, the Midianite princess. Dichsiv, what did I say?
Cosby, you didn't say Cosby, you said
Says
Cosby.
Zimri.
No, Cosby, I'm sorry. Cosby, correct. Dichsiv, v'hoisa loyu lazara achrav, and will be for him and his descendants afterwards, bris kunas olam. That's only then was he given the covenant of the kuna. That's one pshat. The Gemara says another pshat. The Gemara says, Rav Ashi Amar, Rav Ashi says, this is a history happened later. This is, people don't know this near tragedy. Pinchas averted an incredible civil war in Klal Yisrael. What happened is Ruvain, Gad, and Chatzi Shevet Menashe erected an altar in the Transjordan. And the Shvatim thought that they erected an idolatrous altar. And they wanted to go to war with them. In fact, they didn't do it for that reason. They did it just to show that they were part of Klal Yisrael. And they believed in the Kel Echad. And Pinchas led a meeting with them and found out that they weren't guilty, and he saved the civil war. That's when he became a Kohen. Rav Ashi Amar at shesam shalom bein hashvatim, until he made peace between the shvatim. A peacemaker, there's nothing like a peacemaker. There's nothing like a peacemaker.
Doesn't sound like it was such a big deal. All he did was go and see that they met up and honest.
You know something? Anytime you have two Hasidic kreisen fighting with each other, you think it's easy to make peace? You know how hard it is? You know how many people have tried to make peace between different sectors of Hasidim and failed? Shenemar, Vayishma Pinchas HaKohen Nesiya Eda V'Roshi Alfei Yisrael, and Pinchas and the princes of the congregation and the heads of the thousands of Yisrael, they went and met. It's the Yetzer Hara of Machlokes is so great that there are a lot of times that headstrong people just go and say, let's go. But no, Pinchas, who knew when to be a zealot and when not to be a zealot, made peace. Says the Gemara of V'idach Nami, why does he say that he became a Kohen first when he made peace? V'aksiv v'hoisa loyu lazara achrav. It would be for him and his descendants afterwards. Riskun asylum by the Maisa of Zimri and Cosby. Says the Gemara, Kiksiv ahu bebrachu dichsiv. That was a blessing that the kahuna will continue with his children. But he was not yet anointed officially as a Kohen. V'idach nami hoksiv ayishma Pinchas HaKohen. That Pinchas HaKohen led the mission of peace. Hahu liyaches zaro yachrav. That was a specific reward that from then on, the Kohen Gadol should preferably be chosen from the descendants of Pinchas. Amarav, Moshe Rabbeinu Kohen Gadol. Moshe Rabbeinu was a Kohen Gadol. V'chaylek b'kachei shemayim, and he took portions in the kachim of the inauguration. There's a whole shaila what he wore. We had a Gemara earlier that said that he wore just a plain white shift, I believe, of linen. He didn't wear the 8 begadim. Shenemar me'el ha'meluim l'Moshe haya l'mana. From the ram of the meluim was given to Moshe as a portion. So then the question becomes, so then why did, it's a simple question, why did you have to burn it? Give it to Moshe to eat. Why did it ask from Pinchas? Moshe Rabbeinu could have eaten it. Because his nephews died, he didn't become an Einan. Says the Gemara, Dilma Shani Moshe. Moshe was different. The Torah b'Shchina, because he was busy with the Shchina. Moshe Rabbeinu was in solitude He wasn't available. He was with the Shechina. Damar Mar Moshe Bashkama Allah. He went up in the morning, and Bashkama Yored, and he came down in the night. And I think we're going to stop over here. I want to really thank Hashem that I was able to do this. Let me welcome in Irving Fishbaum, Yaakov Warman, Saba, Yitzi Fuchs, Shimon Klein, Eddie Chazan, Ruvain Palak, Shalom Fogel, Baruch Ian, Dr. Black, Eddie Spry, Michal, Nachman Chapler, Barry Cement, and Shelley Zeitlin, Dr. Guy, Rabbi Kranz, Avram Rezepkowitz, Yitzi Muller, Ilya Shutman, Naftali Jablin, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, Elio Yaffe, Moshe Lehman, Stephen Stern, who is just joining us now as we're concluding. David Helfgott here in the shul. We had a very nice crowd. Berish Gesseman, Gedalia Engel, Chaim Kramer, Michal Avram, Danny Vogel, and it's great to have Yehuda Salam back with us, and Ruvain Shannet. We want to wish Gedalia a mazel tov on his trip to Chicago. It should be a safe trip. Gedalia, what did you want to ask?
How did Aaron know that there was a difference between Kadshay Deiros and Kadshay Shah? Moshe didn't tell it to him. Moshe gave him a directive to eat everything, and he decided that was all about...
He decided only because of the power of the Kal V'chomer from Meiser HaKal. He couldn't believe that it would be more lenient than Meiser HaKal. So he felt that it must be that the dispensation was only for that which is unique, which is Oirah Shah. And he was right.
Did you ever think about how much meat they had to go through? You're talking about 3 people, and there were a bunch of karbanos, and they had to eat not all of it, but...
Well, it must be that some of it was burnt as nicer. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for davening for me. I am not saying a chumash here tonight. 1 second, please. I'm not saying a chumash here tonight. I don't feel up to doing 2 shiurim in a row. In 43 years, there has not been many Wednesdays that I didn't give a chumash here, or Tuesdays. I will try to post a shir on Vayigash from the old archives. So take a look at that on Anytime and on YouTube. And we'll see everybody. Be'ezus Hashem, please have me in mind still. Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel. I hope to see everybody tomorrow night.